No momentary pleasure theater contains happiness. The happiness was always projected by the audience. Imagine a movie theater. The screen is blank, completely blank. Then a movie begins to play. People in the audience start laughing, crying, feeling excitement, fear, love. But here's the truth: the screen itself contains none of those emotions. It is just light and sound. The audience is generating the emotional experience inside themselves. Life works the same way. A beautiful woman appears. One man becomes obsessed. Another man feels nothing. A third man feels irritation. The woman did not carry those emotions inside her. Each mind projected its own interpretation onto the same object. So the beauty was never inside the woman, it existed inside the observer's mind. Now apply this to everything: money, marriage, status, America, luxury, success. People believe these things contain happiness, but they don't. They are simply screens. The mind projects meaning onto them. This is why your inside is powerful. No momentary pleasure theater contains happiness. The happiness was always projected by the audience. The theater is empty. The audience creates the experience. And once this becomes clear, something subtle happens. You stop believing, once I enter that theater, I will finally be fulfilled. Because now you see, the theater never contained fulfillment to begin with. It only contained your imagination projected onto it. So the object has no power. The mind gives it power. And then the mind becomes enslaved to its own creation. And that realization is the beginning of freedom. Not because you reject life, but because you stop worshipping the theaters. The theater of desire. Why fulfillment was never in the object. If fulfillment were in the object, everyone would experience it the same way, but they do not. Which means the pleasure is not in the thing, it is in the mind's interpretation of the thing. First, see the mechanism clearly. You think you are craving the object, but you are not. You are craving the interpretation your mind has attached to the object. The object itself is neutral. A beautiful woman, a luxury car, a house in America, money. These are just forms in the world. They contain no inherent fulfillment. If they did, the experience would be universal. Every person would feel the same thing. But that never happens. One man worships beauty, another man feels indifferent to it. One man dreams of America, another man hates living there. One person loves wealth, another abandons it for solitude. So the pleasure cannot be in the object. It must be in the story the mind tells about the object. Think of it like this. A child may believe a plastic toy crown makes him a king. He protects it. He sleeps with it. He cries if someone takes it away. But the crown itself is worthless plastic. The power exists only in the belief. Adults do the same thing, just with more expensive toys. Now your question was important. You said, if this is the case, then it's kind of a stupid idea to crave the object. Yes, but not because you force yourself to reject it. That becomes another mental game. The real shift happens when you see through the illusion. When the mind realizes, this thing does not contain what I imagined, something natural happens. The intensity of the craving weakens, not through discipline, not through morality, but through clarity. Let me give you a simple analogy. Imagine you thought a mirage in the desert was water. You run toward it desperately. You believe your survival depends on reaching it. Then someone shows you clearly. It is just light bending on hot sand. After that realization, something changes. You cannot run toward the mirage with the same desperation, even if you still see it, because the spell is broken. This is what happens with the desire when it is deeply understood. The object may still appear attractive. You may still enjoy things in life. But the psychological slavery disappears. You no longer believe this thing will complete me. Most people never reach this point. They simply move from one object to another, from one dream to another, from one theater to another, believing fulfillment is always one step away. But the rare people eventually sees the mind was chasing its own projection all along. So your intuition is correct. When you see clearly that pleasure was never in the object, a strange freedom appears. You can still live, you can still build, you can still earn, you can still love, but inwardly something is different. You are no longer hypnotized by the promise. So if the object never contained fulfillment, then what exactly has the mind been chasing your entire life? Listen, first understand this clearly. What you are calling momentary pleasure theater is exactly how the mind manufactures reality. The mind is not interested in truth, the mind is interested in stimulation. So it creates a stage. On that stage, it places actors, the beautiful girl, the luxury car, the foreign country, the big house, the admiration of others, the fantasy of success. Then the mind whispers, if this scene happens, you will finally be fulfilled. But this is theater, not truth. Now notice something profound that you yourself discovered. A rich kid may hate village life. A villager may dream about America. Someone may crave marriage. Someone else may feel trapped in marriage. Someone may worship beauty. Another may find beauty meaningless. If fulfillment were in the object, everyone would experience it the same way. But they do not. Which means the pleasure is not in the thing. It is in the mind's interpretation of the thing. So what is happening? The mind is not chasing reality. The mind is chasing its own conditioning. Childhood, comparison, social programming, movies, friends, parents, status hierarchies. All of these quietly installed desire templates. And later in life you call those templates my dreams. But they are not yours. They were installed. This is why you said something very perceptive. Whatever you are deprived of becomes your highest calling. Yes, the poor boy worships money. The lonely man worships woman. The ignored man worships status. The insecure man worships power. It is compensation psychology. The mind is trying to heal an old wound with external objects. But objects cannot heal psychological wounds. So the theater continues. Now here is the deeper realization you are approaching. There is no perfect pleasure theater. None. Because if you achieve one, the mind will create another. This is why the billionaire still chases validation. The famous still chase admiration. The married still chase romance. The powerful still chase more power. The mind cannot stop creating theaters. It survives by doing so. But something interesting happens when you see the mechanism clearly. Not intellectually, but deeply. Then when the mind presents a theater, you can watch it. Almost like watching a movie. You may still participate in life. You may still build wealth. You may still marry. You may still travel. But inwardly, there is a quiet understanding. This is a scene, not salvation. And that understanding changes everything. Because now you are not psychologically enslaved by the scene. Let me correct one subtle thing. You said, the point is not to crave. No, that becomes suppression. The real point is this, to see the illusion so clearly that craving loses its authority. You don't fight desire. You outgrow it through understanding. Your realization is not completed, but you are looking in the right direction. Most people never question the theater. They spend their entire life chasing different stage sets. Bigger house, prettier partner, more status, more applause, and they die inside the theater, never realizing it was a production of the mind. Let me leave you with a question. If every pleasure theater is constructed by conditioning, then tell me, what in your life today is truly your own and not installed by society? Sit with that. Because that question alone can dismantle half of the mind's illusions. The theater of desires. Imagine that every human being is born into a vast city, a strange city, a city filled with thousands of theaters. Each theater promises the same thing on its glowing signboard, ultimate happiness inside. As a child, you walk through the streets holding the hands of your parents. They point to one theater and say, look there, that is success. Your friends point to another theater and say, that one is love. Society lights up a giant one in the center and calls it status. Movies advertise another, beauty. Soon the streets become loud with voices shouting, marry a beautiful woman, go to America, become rich, be admired, live an extraordinary life. Every theater claims the same promise. Enter here, fulfillment awaits. So you enter one. Inside, the lights are bright, music is playing. Everyone inside looks convinced that this is the greatest theater in the world. If it is the marriage theater, people say, nothing is more meaningful than love. If it is the money theater, people say, everything in life depends on wealth. If it is the beauty theater, people say, a beautiful partner is the ultimate prize. And while you sit inside, it feels convincing, very convincing, because everyone around you is clapping, everyone around you is nodding, everyone around you says, yes, this is it. But something strange happens one day. You step outside the theater and you walk across the street, and there you see another theater. Inside it, people are laughing at the one you just left. The rich man says, money is boring. The married man says, freedom is happiness. The villager dreams of America. The American dreams of silence in a village. The celebrity dreams of anonymity. The anonymous man dreams of fame. Each theatre thinks it contains the secret to life. Yet every theatre contradicts the others. So slowly a question arises in you, a dangerous question. If happiness were truly inside one theatre, why are there thousands of theatres? And why does each audience swear theirs is the right one? Then the deeper realization appears. These theatres were never about happiness. They were about conditioning. The poor child grows up staring at the money theatre. The lonely child grows up staring at the love theatre. The ignored child stares at the status theatre. The deprived child stares at the luxury theatre. Whatever you lacked became the theatre whose lights hypnotized you the most. Not because it is truth, but because the mind believes the missing piece will complete it. And so humans spend their entire lives running from theatre to theatre. Money theatre, marriage theatre, success theatre, spiritual theatre, validation theatre, each time believing this one will finally end the search. But the play never ends because the mind needs the theatre to survive. Without the next promise, the mind would fall silent. But once in a while, a rare person walks out of the theatre district completely. They stand on a quiet hill overlooking the city, and for the first time, they see the lights, the noise, the advertisements, the crowds running from one theatre to another, and suddenly they laugh, not with arrogance, but with clarity, because they see something simple. No theatre contains happiness. The happiness was already projected by the audience. And when you see this clearly, you can still walk through the city. You can still enter a theatre. You may watch the play. You may even enjoy the show. But inside, you know something the audience does not. You know it is only a play. And that understanding frees you in a way that chasing happiness never could. Because now you are not looking for the perfect theatre. You are simply aware of the illusion of all of them. Let me leave you with a final question. If every theatre promises fulfillment, but none actually contain it, then tell me, who's the one that keeps buying the tickets? So listen, every human being is running toward a theatre. One theatre promises love, another promises money, another promises beauty, another promises status. Each theatre hangs the same sign outside, fulfillment inside. So people spend their lives buying tickets, running from one show to another, believing that the next stage, the next person, the next achievement will finally complete them. But something strange is discovered when one begins to look carefully. The theatre itself contains nothing. It is just a stage, just lights, just actors. The happiness people feel inside it was never in the theatre. It was projected by the audience. And because each audience carries different conditioning, different wounds, different desires, each person sees a different perfect theatre. The poor dream of wealth, the wealth dream of peace, the lonely dream of love, the married dream of freedom, each one believing their missing piece is the doorway to fulfillment. But the deeper truth is far simpler. The mind was chasing its own projection all along. And when this becomes clear, not intellectually, but deeply, something quite happens. You can still walk through the city of theatres. You can still watch the plays, but the hypnosis is gone. Because now you see what most never see. No momentary pleasure theatre contains happiness. The audience was projecting it all along.